Welcome to the Championship Fantasy Football League podcast. Here is your host, Shipwreck's crew.
Welcome everybody to the CFFL podcast. Today, as you can see, I got the mammoth Nick here with me. And today we're just going to do our thing. We're going to go through the pools update, the standings update, the matchups, look at the transactions that happened this week, get some insight about trades from Nick here, and it's going to be a good time. All right, here we go.
Pools
All
update.
right, so as you can see, we have Nick and Chess sitting atop the Pick'em pool. Nick, how are you doing it?
I got a formula. It's working out. I don't want to really divulge a lot of good information that's working for me right now.
Okay.
But, if you watch football and you get a basic understanding of injuries and playing weather and, surface, it all plays into it. So
Absolutely. I'm not too far behind. I'm 3 games back from you and Chess. But if anything we learned from last week is that football is definitely a weekly sport. And so let's kind of take a closer look at how people did last week on individual games, see what kind of stood out here. So as far as the leaders from last week, myself and Chess led the way with 9, which isn't saying much, but that was the top scores from last week. Nick, looks like you got 6 there. Definitely a lot of upsets last week. What kind of stood out to you?
Well, Jacksonville blowing out Baltimore, and Matt, team to beat. You're the only one that got that one right. That's a hell of a pick.
Or a stupid one, but who knows? Worked out for you.
Hey, that defense is looking legit.
Absolutely.
Another one was the Washington-Oakland game. It fooled us pretty well. Everybody except for Chess. I
was watching that game, and you know how much I hate the Raiders, but I was just in disbelief of what I was watching. It just did not seem like the Raiders that everyone knew.
It didn't seem like they showed up.
I heard something interesting from one person saying that Washington had played like strictly man the first 2 games of the season, and they thought the Raiders came out game planned heavily against man, and then when they showed up, Washington was playing like nothing but zone. So I wonder if that threw them for a loop.
That definitely could throw a wrench in the plans.
Interesting. Okay. So on to really the highlight when it comes to the pools this past week is the survival pool, because it is truly a survival pool at this point. We lost the entire fellowship. Myself, Nick, Matt, Mike. We lost Dave. I mean, we lost a lot of people last week.
Yeah, last week it killed a lot of people for everything. This pool, the last pool, I mean, it was just all over the place. I mean, who thought the Jets would have pulled out the upset against Miami?
Why? What happened, Dolphins?
I went for Cleveland against Indianapolis because Indianapolis was playing like trash.
Yeah, when else could you pick Cleveland?
Exactly.
You're playing the long game, and I was playing the long game last week, and now there's no game left for us.
Exactly.
Ugh, brutal thing. The people we got left here, we have Seb, who actually already picked Green Bay for this week, so he's going to move on to next week. And then we got Washington and Chess there.
Chess hanging out with the pools.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good with the pools. I don't know if it's him or if he's got a secret source, but he's doing pretty good there. Anyway, that's it for the pools. Moving on.
Standings update.
All right, so on to some of our scoring rankings here. Some interesting stuff in here. The top scorers right now, we're looking at Matt with me quite a ways back, but Matt's really been the team killing it with those 3 running backs. What do you think of Matt's team so far?
I was hoping we would get some ground on him with David Johnson going down, but with the way Gurley's playing, with the way Melvin Gordon's playing, it's going to be hard to catch up.
Thank God David Johnson went down. Because, Matt's team absolutely terrified me after the draft. So it's tough luck. He'll get rewarded for it next season. And he probably will get David Johnson back later this season. So, but right now, leader in the clubhouse, Matthew, absolutely killing it this year. And down there at the bottom, we got Ryan by a long ways at 197, the only person not to break 200. What is going on with Ryan's team right now?
I have no idea. I mean, like you said earlier, like his lineups are set last minute. It just seems like the research isn't there.
Yeah, maybe his head's not in the game. So, I don't know what's going on there, Ryan.
You better pull it out, Ryan. Come on, let's go.
All right, and then briefly hitting on the efficiency rating, Michael's moved to the top dog here, getting the most out of his team with a 94.7 efficiency rating. Quite impressive. And then Dave Fow, there was a lot of question marks about Dave Fow's fantasy football prowess coming into this season, but I think he's kind of shown.
I'm hoping he starts the uptick now because he's definitely had plenty of downticks.
Yeah, it was a rough year last year, that's for sure, but showing an 89.3 efficiency rating, having two strong showings the last 2 weeks, led by some good running backs, definitely been impressive so far this year. And then again, we find Mr. Ryan down there at the bottom with his start-sit decisions.
73.4%.
Yeah, so Ryan needs a wake-up call or something. Something's going on there, and it's not the vicious and delicious we saw from last season.
Hey, shake up that team, Ryan. Hit me up with some trades. All right?
All right, moving on.
Weekly recap.
All right, on to the matchups now. So the first matchup I got here is Marshall versus myself. Marshall beat me, even though I scored 103 points. He scored more, 128, took home team of the week. Had quite the impressive week, especially after the morning games. I was expecting some record-setting points here after he had Dalvin Cook, Brandon Cooks, Larry Fitz, and Matt freaking Prater scored 20 points for this guy's team. Just absolutely just blew off the doors to start the week, so I thought he was going to set some records. But Phillip Rivers, Hunter Henry, and the Cardinals D absolutely kind of shat the bed from there on out. But still a great performance.
Right. And with Henry, you never know with the Chargers tight ends. You got Antonio Gates, who's the ageless wonder, who's never going to go away.
Dude, just retire, Gates.
And then Hunter Henry, they're using their best receiving tight end as a blocker.
I don't get it. I have Hunter Henry in another league, and it is driving me bananas. So I can't start him right now with any confidence unless maybe Gates gets hurt. Then maybe I can put him in there.
Right.
Anyway, my team I thought performed pretty well. Still scored 103. Finished top 6. Mostly carried by Russell Wilson. Let's be honest. 33.52 points. Really carried a team where Ty Montgomery, C.J. Anderson, and fucking Cooper Kupp, and Jason Witten, man, he's on fire to start the year. They just really let me down this week, but Russell picked up the pieces and carried me to at least finishing top 6. Any other thoughts on this game, Nick?
Well, I mean, it's tight ends again. They're just not scoring.
It is bad.
It's been bad across the board, really. I mean, there hasn't really been that tight end that has blown the doors off.
Absolutely. I think if you were to look at the rankings at the end of last week, it was like Gronk, Ertz, and Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah.
And Mercedes Lewis didn't have like a single catch until last week when he scored 3 touchdowns. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how awful the tight end position has been this week. All right, so moving on to matchup numero dos between Sebastian and Mike here. Sebastian made a running for team of the week, but didn't quite make it with 123 points. He beats Michael, who scored 97. A pretty good showing from Michael as well. Standouts from Seb's team, 26 points from Kirk Cousins and Chris Thompson with another good week with 24. He smartly started T.Y. Hilton. I had a feeling this was going to be T.Y. Hilton's week this past week, and he scored 21 for him there. So he got some production from some of his wide receivers finally after going wide receiver heavy.
Right, definitely, because I feel it too. I went wide receiver heavy as well. If your wide receivers don't do anything, your team is dead in the water.
Absolutely.
But he got good production from Kirk Cousins. He stayed patient with him. Kirk Cousins definitely didn't start off the year very well.
Not at all.
And good to see that he got a good performance out of Chris Thompson. Just hail to the Redskins.
He's been electric so far this season. We'll see how he fares against the Chiefs this week. But yeah, Chris Thompson really carrying the Redskins offense right now. And then on to Michael's team. Wentz didn't do anything super exciting, but Jordan Howard rose from the grave. Michael was I wouldn't have had the balls, I don't think, to start Jordan Howard after he started the year, got a bum shoulder, but scores 26.4 for Michael right here.
Yeah, Jordan Howard came out strong. Another running back that I like off of Mike's team is Chris Carson.
Oh, yeah.
Seattle's running back, he looks like he's solidifying himself as that number one back in Seattle.
Absolutely. I mean, that could be. I mean, if Chris Carson keeps the job, stays healthy this year, you got to know that's going to be one of Michael's keepers.
Oh, it has to be.
Absolutely. All right, so good game there, but Sebastian sneaks that one out. So moving on to the next game, we head over to DP Hit Squad versus Vicious and Delicious. And I don't know, this is a stat check for Matthew, but this has got to be one of the biggest beatdowns in fantasy history right here.
Yeah, it's ugly. It is super ugly. I think Russell Wilson beat Vicious and Delicious.
Almost 4 points away from beating Vicious's quote team. 37.12 points from Ryan's squad. That is just pretty terrible. Now, I will say I can't fault him for starting the Ravens defense against Jacksonville. Jacksonville offense hasn't been that great, and the Ravens defense was really good up to last week.
That was the right call. And the alternate to that was the Houston defense against New England.
Yeah.
At New England.
Yeah.
You can't bet against the New England.
And they scored 10 points.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's fantasy football. It can be a bitch sometimes. But definitely not making up for the rest of that team. Terrell Pryor's been a big bust so far this year.
Super disappointing in Washington. I had high hopes for him. I thought what he did in Cleveland was just going to be a little tidbit of what we are actually going to see.
Yeah, me too. He got a better upgrade at quarterback, upgrade on the offense. I still like Pryor, as Ryan may know from some of our trade talks. But Pryor, I think he'll still do it this year. It may take a few more weeks, but I think he'll get there. But
the one thing Ryan did get right though, Vernon Davis.
Oh yeah, that was a great move.
Jumping on that when he had Jordan Reed go out.
I think that was a late week transaction as well.
Good move, Ryan. That's what it takes. Now just do that with every one of your other
every other position.
every other position.
I can't follow up. J.J. also big disappointment so far this year.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on to Dave's team, who's actually just been on fire these last weeks. Really led by Devonta Freeman and Carlos Hyde, just chugging along, doing work. He's got the stable Aaron Rodgers in there. You know you're always going to get production from that spot. Got some help from the kicker this week, but those wide receivers definitely been disappointing, at least last week.
Amari Cooper is definitely the biggest disappointment out of all of those. Sammy Watkins playing on the Rams, doing what he's doing, is definitely a pleasant surprise. Was not expecting that type of production from Sammy Watkins this year.
Yeah, that was I know you're a 49ers fan, but that was a fun game to watch.
It was
49ers Rams game.
What, 80-something points they put up?
Did not expect that. Was awesome.
So it was a shootout. It was fun to watch. It was fun to see both teams score, but the wrong team won. That wasn't offensive pass interference, by the way. Just a great route. So.
All right, but Dave absolutely slays Ryan here. Moving on to the next matchup, we got Matt versus Daryl. Pretty good game here. Matthew, though, takes home another W, scoring 113 points to Wash's 88 points. Again, just led by running backs, but from that game we just talked about, that Todd Gurley performance, though.
Todd Gurley, it looks like he's back to his rookie year form. The offense is just a great fit for what he's doing, and we're actually seeing another outlet of what he can do in the pass catching. Something that he didn't do last year. And he caught, I believe it was like a 19 or 20-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, something like that.
And, he looks good. And the offensive line is vastly improved in front of the Rams. And, Whitworth on the left tackle is giving some veteran leadership to that.
Yeah, I've heard he's made a huge difference. It's pretty crazy how one lineman can really make a big difference for an offense. And really the coaching, too. Going from Jeff frickin' Fisher to Sean McVay, who looks like he's about to strap a helmet on and go out there.
But the one question I wanted to ask you about Sean McVay, what do you think about him sitting next to the Gatorade during the defensive plays and letting Phillips just
someone
do
was
his thing?
telling about that. He's just like, you know what, you go do this. I'm gonna go over here and get the offense right. And it's interesting. I think it's a savvy move from a young head coach, just saying, you know what, Wade Phillips, you've been doing this for a long time. You are a respected defensive coordinator in the NFL. I'm just going to trust you to take care of that defense while I get my offense right. I'm the offensive guy. You're the defensive guy, and I think they're doing it right. And maybe maybe you see more teams kind of do that. If the head coach has a speciality, maybe they just focus in on that.
Right, especially with the play calling ability of the head coach, whether it be on offense or defense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very interesting to say the least. The Rams are, for the first time in a long time, an actual interesting team to watch now.
First place in the NFC West.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that. Interesting fact there. And then popping over to Washington's team here, real quick. None of his teams really shat the bed, but no one really did anything special here either, except for the Jaguars' defense and Doug Baldwin.
But you leave 29 points on the bench with Stephon Diggs.
Ooh.
And, that's the number one wide receiver in Minnesota.
That's a tough one, though. I mean, he's got Doug Baldwin, DeAndre Hopkins, and Alshon Jeffrey now. Maybe not huge production names, but they're big names. So maybe he's just laying too much on the names themselves and not the production.
Maybe. I mean, the matchup against Tampa Bay was a glaring mismatch because Tampa Bay, I believe, has given up the most points to wide receivers in fantasy football this year.
And that's in 2 weeks?
Yes. And looking at it now, I would have benched Jeffrey for him. But
yeah, tough matchup there against Jenkins. I'm pretty sure Janoris Jenkins played that game.
And Landon Collins behind him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
I love Steph Diggs. That dude is a beast. As long as he stays healthy, he should be good. It was good to see him actually get something done with Case Keenum at quarterback.
Right.
Number one wide receiver in fantasy football right now, Stephon Diggs. All right, moving on to the next matchup. This is your matchup here, Nick.
Yeah, another underperforming week for me.
We had Matt Guerra score 87. Nick scored 69 here. Why don't you tell me a little bit about this matchup, Nick?
Well, I mean, Matt Heels puts together a decent team, and, it's a real solid team. He definitely got Odell Beckham back in the fray. As much as I tried to pry him off of him while he was injured.
I was low. Yeah.
But the running backs that he got, I mean, Jalen Richard is a shot in the dark. But worthy of a mention if Lynch goes down.
Absolutely.
And over to my team, it's just my running back Gillislee. He really didn't get any opportunities.
I think that's where you're going to get with Gillislee. You're going to have those days where he scores you 18 because he just plunges three touchdowns from the two. And then you're going to have those days where he gets his 30 yards with no touchdowns. Just kind of comes with the territory.
And I took a flyer on Galladay. I benched Chris Hogan. Chris Hogan blew it up for 18 points.
Yeah.
He was injured with a knee injury for the whole week, listed as questionable the whole week, and I just didn't feel right going with the wide receiver with a bum knee, and that's why I went with Galladay.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I mean, you got to worry about just getting a big goose egg from a guy out there that's maybe as a decoy, but on the field definitely looked like he was just fine. Maybe it's that Patriots crap that they like to pull with their injury report.
Yeah, maybe. And by the way, Martellus Bennett, you're going bye-bye.
He gone. All right, so that was a pretty close matchup actually there, but Matt takes on the W. This was our game against the two defeated teams, so Matt gets on the win column at 1-5 here.
Thanks, Matt.
Better luck next week for you, good sir.
Yeah.
All right, and then our last matchup to go over here, we got the new guy Andrew versus Chess. Chess's Chief Magic finally wore off, I think.
It did. 1 week too late. When you bet on a team as much as Chess does with the Chiefs, you're really hoping that your team does the Chiefs do well every week, and that's you just can't bet on that every week.
Indeed.
Kareem Hunt's still strong. I mean, who would have thought that him being a first-round pick at the draft was almost laughable?
Yeah, absolutely.
And now he's probably the top scoring player in fantasy football right now.
Yeah, probably. He's absolutely a pleasure to watch. I wish he was on my team. I fucking hate you, Chess, for being in the league and being a Chiefs fan and taking him from me. In all fairness, I probably would have gotten him because I would have taken him with the second round pick. But Chess, you probably could have still gotten him with your second round pick. Just saying. But yeah, Kareem Hunt, still great player, fun to watch, never goes down on the first hit. Tyreek Hill had a decent day for him too, but Kelsey with that 1-0 point just was not a factor this week. And the Bucs defense got crushed. Yeah, by the Vikings. And then Andrew over there got a couple good performances. His boy Antonio Brown got him 17, just doing what he does. Tom Brady, monster game with 35 points. But other than that, nothing too exciting going on Andrew's team.
Yeah, and when you have a Tom Brady, you can't really get mad benching Dak Prescott getting 22 points.
Indeed.
I mean, that's good trade bait, just a hint.
Yeah, when are you going to start Prescott over Brady?
Yeah.
Never. On the bye week, that's it.
Deshaun Jackson, you get what you get with him. He's a boomer bust guy. He gets that one long pass, and that's all your points you're going to get from him.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't get it, I was thinking, Mike Evans was going to benefit from having Deshaun Jackson on that team. So far, it hasn't happened that much.
Yeah, they had a tough matchup this past week, so we'll see where the Bucs go in their third week. And I just want to note here, talk about the oldest running back tandem in fantasy right now. Chris Johnson, Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, wow.
That was great. What, like 5-7 years ago?
That would have been an amazing combination. People would be declaring collusion with that running back combo.
Indeed.
7 years ago.
Just thought that was pretty interesting. All right, that's it for the matchups. Let's move it on.
Transaction report.
All right, so we didn't have any trades this past week. What the hell's going on? Nick?
People, call me.
What's
Seriously.
going on, man? This guy says he's got no trade offers this week.
0.
What is going on, guys? We have trades that go down every week. I know I was trying to do some trades this week. But nothing went through this week, so we'll just go right into the waivers. Nothing super exciting here. Matthew dropped Samaje Perine, who he picked up last week, and for Wendell Smallwood for 44 fab. I thought that was kind of high personally. What did you think about that?
Well, here's the thing. When you see a player that you want, you gotta go get him. And Matt had an abundance of waiver cash. He still has a lot of waiver cash left.
Fair enough.
So if you see the way our waiver wire is, it's super thin. The people that like NFL Network and all these draft guys are telling you to pick up.
Yeah.
We picked them up 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely. It's annoying being a podcast guy. You're like, yeah, keep going. Tell me some more people. Oh, you're in your deep dives? Okay, that's where our league's at. All right.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of hard, listening to all these NFL guys, listening to the Sirius XM podcast, and it's great advice, but we're already doing it.
Indeed.
And
it's good. It's a good feeling knowing that you're in a league with people that know what they're doing. It can be frustrating sometimes, though.
It is.
Matthew also picked up the Bengals defense for 11. I believe they play the Browns this week, and their pass rushes look pretty good. So pretty good pickup there.
Yeah, but the thing is, it could be a trap game for the Bengals. I mean, they haven't really got on track. They had to shoot it out with the Green Bay Packers, and that was the first time their offense showed any signs of life. And people are sleeping on the Cleveland Browns defense.
Yeah, that's pretty true, and I think they might get Myles Garrett back this week. So
I believe he's questionable. Yeah,
we might get to see the first pick play some. But other than that, not much fab spent. Do you have a favorite waiver wire pickup from this week?
Josh Doxson, finally, he showed life in the NFL.
Absolutely, I know it was an impressive catch that I saw on the game, jumping over that guy, and I've seen his production or his play time rather increase more each week. So we'll see. He probably won't do much this week, but then they have a bye after that. So I'm kind of hoping maybe they implement him more into the offense.
Hopefully he stays on that field. That hamstring has been a problem his entire career. So.
Did you stay pat? I don't think you picked him this week.
I didn't do anything this week.
Marty B still on the roster. Oh.
He's currently still on the roster. I got Evan Ingram, the Giants tight end. I think he'll do decent. He's been, fairly average, scoring 4 or 6 points.
Indeed. All right. So on transaction talk, we got Nick on the show today. We all know that Nick loves to trade. If you want to make a trade, I know he's the first roster I check every time, just to see, if I'm going to get a deal done, I know I can make it happen over there with Nick if I try for a while. But that being said, Nick, I just wanted to get your thoughts on trade theory and how your mindset looks at a trade. And so I'll give you an example. So say you were trying to trade for C.J. Anderson on my team. Had good first 2 weeks. Struggled a little bit last week. You were trying to go after him. What's your kind of mindset?
Well, see, I got to take into account that he did have 2 really good weeks. And I'm going to hope that you're, kind of down on the last week that he performed.
Yeah, and CJ, not the greatest history.
Not the
player.
bell cow. The bell cow. And, so what I would do is I would be mildly aggressive to I would offer probably two decent players that I feel that your team needs, and hopefully that down week has brought down his value just enough so I can reach out and get him.
Okay, so like in my case, I'm thin at wide receiver. I think you're heavy kind of at wide receiver.
I am pretty heavy. I would probably throw out Chris Hogan and Kenny Galladay. Another guy with high upside, but Chris Hogan has been producing at a very decent level.
Yeah, you can't, at least me personally, I can't complain about production if it's steady production week in and week out, or at least steady not production in the offense, but they're being used every week. Maybe they're not producing, but they're being used every week. That makes me feel good too. So yeah, that's a very interesting insight there. A lot of people, they complain about Nick's trade theory out here. They come at him and they say that he's throwing a bunch of trash at him.
You got to start somewhere, it's starting right? The conversation. That's the hardest part of starting the trade talks. You throw out an offer, all you get is no. You throw out another offer, no.
That is the worst thing in the world. You either get no response or you just get no.
Yeah.
It's like no counter offer. Like come on.
It's a negotiation, people. Negotiate.
That's the fun part, right?
Exactly. That's the art of the deal. Was what Donald Trump says. Yes. The art of the deal, right? You got to make a deal. You gotta go out there, change your team up. It's no fun if you just draft and sit there for the rest of the year. You want that? Go to the draft.com or whatever.
Yeah, indeed. Don't say no. Don't just ignore them. Come back with something. Call them. Maybe an insult would probably be better than anything else. I don't know.
I grade insults.
There you go. All right, so that's some trade insight there from the trade master himself, Nick Siva.
Thursday recap.
All right, so now just a brief recap of where we're at so far this week. We had the Thursday night game. My first matchup here is mine. I am apparently a huge fan of the Green Bay Packers this year. And I had Ty Montgomery, Jordy Nelson, and Mason Crosby all going Thursday night. Ty Montgomery got hurt, injured early. He was looking good, got 2.8 in the limited time he was in. God knows what kind of night he could have had if he would have stayed healthy.
It would have been fun to see, but then again, also Jamal Williams came in and then went right back out as well.
Fucking A. I was sitting there feeding my child at the dinner table, and I see Ty Montgomery out, and I'm like, well, fuck, but hey, not the end of the world. I got Jamal Williams on all 3 of my fantasy teams this year, so I'm excited to watch Jamal Williams play. He's not looking great, and then all of a sudden, he's out. And I find out he's injured, and I scare the shit out of my entire family as I yell out, just fuck, and throw my phone, because I'm just so infuriated with the situation. I went from having 3 good running backs, losing Ty Montgomery, I'm like, okay, I got his backup, and then losing his backup all in just like 2 minutes.
It was vicious.
It was awful. But anywho, Jordy Nelson at least saved my night from being a total...
Benefited from the Bears' lack of tackling downfield.
Yeah, and not covering Jordy Nelson. How about that?
Yeah,
just on that corner route,
wide open.
That corner route and the goal line. It's like you're just gonna just let him take that corner. It was ridiculous. Obviously a breakdown, but I'll take it. And then Crosby kicking 5 extra points. I guess I won't complain about that. 5 points is
he didn't miss any.
Decent enough, and he didn't miss any, which is good. Side note: are you enjoying our new kicking scoring?
I really do like our new kicking scoring.
It's nice because you can just look at the stat point, the stat sheet, and you're like, oh, he hit a 35-yard field goal. You can just know what he hit. Yeah. It's nice.
I like that we're innovative on the defensive scoring and the kicker scoring. Like I don't know many other leagues that do the kick scoring like we do.
Indeed. When you look at my scoring in some of my other leagues for the defenses, you're just like 7, 8, And it's like, you don't know, did they have a good day? I don't know, just by looking at their scoring. In our league, you can clearly tell if they had a good day or a bad day. On to some of the other scores from Thursday. Michael versus Dave. This should be a good matchup this week. But Dave got a solid 23.06 points from Aaron Rodgers. Just more steady production coming from the best fantasy quarterback in football. And then Jordan Howard got that. I think he scored that late touchdown, right?
He did score a late touchdown, and he's hanging on by a thread with that shoulder. I'm just waiting for him to, take some time off, let Cohen get in there. And
I bet you are.
But speaking of taking hits, Devontae Adams. That was awful. When I saw that happen,
even my wife was like, it's like, can they do that? No, they should not do that. Luckily, he seems like he's okay. Got Michael 7.3 points, which is solid enough before going out in that game. But I'm looking forward to this matchup. I think this is going to be a good one for this week.
Yeah, it's super close right now.
And then the only other game I think that had points scored from Thursday was your game.
It was Tariq Cohen.
Tariq Cohen, 5.15 points. I don't know. Me personally, I get 5 points from a running back. I'm okay with it. Obviously, you're not happy with it, but he's got the yardage. The touchdown just didn't come this week.
Right, and with my running backs, I'm hoping for 5 to 10 points. I'm obviously wide receiver heavy. Julio Jones, Mike Evans. Hopefully that they come up this week and actually score what they're supposed to do. But Tariq Cohen, he's an interesting pickup. I spent a lot of fab on him. I was hoping that I might have hit the diamond in the rough, but we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, like you're saying, Jordan Howard is just hanging on right now. And something interesting, one of our additions this year was adding the return yardage to players themselves. And so you can see we're getting 0.35 points. Not a ton of points from the returns this week, but he's so dynamic of a punt returner.
He could break one.
You could see him break one, and you're going to get production not just from the offense, but from the special teams as well. So I think he's probably in our league a solid RB2.
Keep going, Tariq.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. Nick, thank you for joining me on the podcast this week. But that pretty much wraps it up. We will talk to you guys next week. Good luck to everybody, except for Ryan. Just keep on sucking. Just give me the easy W this week. Do you have any parting words for Josh?
Daryl, thank you for my first win this week.
You heard it here, guys. Nick is getting his W this week. Hopefully it's a double W.
That would really help.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching the CFFL podcast.